What up with y'all, man? It's Mr. Zach, and I'm back with another reaction. Man, y'all do me a favor. Y'all hit that subscribe button, man, and turn on all post notifications so you guys get this content every time I drop a video. But today, man, we're going to get into a reaction of Donald Trump ABC News interview that he did the other day about his first 100 days in office. But we're going to skip to the part where they were talking about illegal immigration. Of course, the MS-13 gang member, El Salvador resident, Kilmar Garcia was brought up. And Trump was infuriated by that because the left keep on talking about the judge said to facilitate his entrance back into America. Trump ain't having it. He not having it. So let's get into this reaction, man. And let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. I really appreciate it. So let's get to the content. Let's go.
President Trump, the first 100 days continues.
Okay, let's move on to immigration. And as you said, it is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods. And so I want to ask
about my message?
Methods, about your methods, how you're accomplishing
They seem to
this.
work.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
No, you're not deporting citizens at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number is 20 million people to flow into our country? You had 21 million people that came into our country through a stupid open border, and they were prisoners, and they were people that you don't want in many cases in our country, right? They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo. They came from South. They came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world. They had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now,
but
did we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
do you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this. If you're going to have 21 million people, and if we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't. Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to do?
The law
give
is the
21
law,
million?
sir. The law is the law, and you're
the law
sworn
doesn't
to
say
uphold
anything
it.
about trials.
No, not trials.
It'll take 200 years to get 21 million people up out of this country. The Democrats did that on purpose, man. They allowed all these people to come in here and, establish themselves. There's no way in hell that any of these people is going to get due process. Like Trump said, they came in here illegally. I don't know why they keep on trying to talk about they need a hearing. No, they came in illegal. Get their asses up out of here. Point blank, period.
Hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in, they're not citizens. They came in illegally. They came into our country illegally.
And
We have to get them out.
There's a legal process for that.
I can't, sure, and we follow the legal process. I can't have a trial, a major trial for every person that came in illegally. We have thousands of murderers that came in. They're going to murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Right, so
we have to get them out,
They're
and we have to
bad
get them
guys,
out fast.
Really bad guys. But in our country, even bad guys get due process, right?
If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal. They came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Exactly. They came in illegally. Ain't no damn due process. They already did the numbers on how many murderers came across that border. Why do they need any kind of due process? We got enough people who done murdered people in America, and they allow, I think the numbers were like 15,000 or something like that. Them numbers that came out a couple months ago. Y'all remember that, right? So we can't take no chances. They got to get up out of here.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Venezuelans.
They get whatever my lawyers say.
Right. All right, let's talk about the Venezuelans. You deported more than 200 Venezuelans to that prison in El Salvador. You say they're violent, they're gang members, they're terrorists. Many of them don't have a criminal record
by the way.
At all.
Well,
but I want to.
I'm not so sure about that. If you take a look,
I want to read you something.
Excuse me. When you look at those people, they were violent people. They were violent people.
But many of them don't have a criminal record
Go
at this
ahead.
point.
I don't know.
I want
That's
to read
what
you
you
something.
say.
They do got criminal records. They came in the damn country illegally. Illegally, man. That's a criminal record right there.
Well, it's based on their lawyer, what their lawyers have said. Okay. Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said it was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. Is Joe Rogan right?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, we want to be careful, and we are careful. We're doing.
Let me say something. So what? Joe Rogan said what he said. So what? Joe Rogan, he don't run nothing. Sometimes you do got to become a monster to get monsters out. Why are we wasting taxpayers, citizens' money to get them some damn due process? We already spent enough taxpayer money to house them, feed them, everything. They know they came across illegal, so go on back, man. They need to get up out of here, period.
Doing something that has to be done. We have a country that's very sick. Joe Biden, and it's not him because I don't even think he knew what the hell was happening, but the people around him are vicious people, and what they've done to the country is unbelievable. They've allowed 21 million people to pour into our country. Many of these people are criminals. They've allowed you mentioned Venezuela, the jails of Venezuela to be emptied into the United States. Do you know Venezuela crime is way down? Way, way down. You know why? Because their criminals are now living happily in the United States of America, and we're getting them out. And I was elected to get them out, and we're getting them out.
Under the law.
And we're getting them out fast, and we're getting them out legally. Now, in some cases, we have judges. In some cases, they're radical left judges. What happened the other day where a judge was protecting a criminal was horrible. And I think she's got big problems, frankly.
That's correct.
There are a couple of them like that.
I want to talk about one
Wait
man.
a minute.
Yep.
We have to be treated fairly by judges. And we're not being treated fairly by all judges.
Oh, that's a subject. So you're saying that you don't like some of the rulings, some of the court orders?
I think the rulings will be overturned, yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you about one man and one court order. Kilmar Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to...
Look, they know he came in here illegally, so why are they protecting him? Like, I don't know why they're protecting this one particular person. He came in illegally, and now they want to protect him. I guess the Democrats want to die on that hill or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make any sense. You came over here illegally. You like I said, man, it just don't make no sense. Don't make no sense, man.
comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, And just so
Said it
you
in court.
understand,
Said
the
it in
person
court.
that you're talking about, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from
I'm
Maryland.
not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
He came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is.
Supreme Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, a great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my number one issue, but it was pretty close.
Right up there.
I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened, and it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That
just...
was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to...
Be quiet, Terry. Good Lord. You asking him a question, he's trying to answer it, but you don't like the answer that he giving you, so you trying to move on to the next question. Talking about it was Photoshop. He already been accused of driving a car that was known to be smuggling people. He got deported twice, came back, and you want to keep defending this man. And you disrespecting the president. I know you got your questions that you want answered and all that stuff. Let President Trump answer the questions and shut your ass up. Good Lord.
Show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it
agree
was
to disagree.
Photoshopped? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He
Fair
had
enough.
MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry.
But look, just to put it into, is it photoshopped or not? They got him in the prisons out there in El Salvador. Take some pictures of his knuckles or his hands and put it out there. You know what I'm saying? And that'll end the whole debate whether he has tattoos of MS-13 on his knuckles. Bottom line.
I want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do
We'll take
such
a
a
look.
disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested. Ukraine.
Coming up.
Man, you know what? They just do not want to admit that this man, Kilmar Garcia, or whatever his name is, Garcia, is a confirmed gang member that has been designated a terrorist group. So if they bring him back, they ain't gonna do nothing but deport him again. So what's the big old deal? What's the big deal? it's just crazy to me, man. But look, we gonna cut this video short, man. Y'all can go and watch the rest of this ABC interview with Donald Trump. It's a very good interview. You know, they squabbled a little bit, back and forth arguing, because this guy Terry, man, he's disrespectful. He disrespectful. Fake news want to paint their own narrative about certain situations. You know what I'm saying? That's why Trump called it fake news. But anyway, man, y'all leave a comment, man. Let me know what y'all think about the interview, man. If y'all watched the whole thing or not. It is what it is. I appreciate y'all, man. Until next time, man, Mr. Zach Reacts, and I'm out. Peace.